If the Vatican were a nation-state thriller, it would have everything. Holy men, secret alliances, and a paper trail stretching from Hitler's Germany to the Cold War CIA operations. In this episode of The Zach Show, I sit down with Philip Sheenan, award-winning investigative journalist, longtime New York Times correspondent, and the man who's taken on the CIA, the 9/11 Commission, and now the modern Catholic Church. His latest book, Jesus Wept: 7 Popes and the Battle for the Soul of the Catholic Church, is part history, part expose, and part moral crime scene investigation. We get into the moments that define the Church's last 7 popes, its saints, its sinners, and the figures who blurred the line between the two. From Pope Pius XII's eerie meeting with Adolf Hitler and his decision to stay silent during the Holocaust, to the roly-poly placeholder Pope John XXIII, who detonated the Second Vatican Council and launched Catholicism into the modern age. We talk Hans Küng, the theological insurgent who called papal infallibility a myth and called out the centuries-old legend that St. Peter ever set foot in Rome, possibly the biggest founding story the Church doesn't want questioned. Then there's the darkest chapter, the Church's industrial-scale cover-up of sexual abuse, stretching back centuries and peaking in our lifetime. Phil walks through the most damning evidence directly tying Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict XVI to shielding predators. We also get into the Vatican's war on whistleblowers and how a serial abuser like Father Maciel was almost elevated to sainthood instead of being exiled. We also dig into Reagan, the CIA, and John Paul II's Holy Alliance to take down the Soviets, plus the question of whether Vatican intelligence is still playing in the shadows today. This episode is about power, heroism, secrecy, and the uncomfortable truth that the institution claiming to have the ear of God has been in bed with some of history's darkest forces. Let's get into it.